Nice and loud.
Did you always know where this story would end, or was that discovered through the writing?
You mean with the dog?
Or in general?
In general, I mean, the dog, the two characters kind of forming this bond where they're not going to separate.
I can't remember how it... I know the dog happened really early on in the process, because I knew that at a certain point I knew it became apparent to me that what I was writing was a sort of dark, violent fable, and so in that context it felt entirely reasonable and appropriate that it have a kind of strangely round, sentimental ending. Having said that, you know, that ending with the dog for me is just like it's like a coda or an epilogue. It's not really the conclusion. I never particularly wanted it to feel like a twist or you know, a hard conclusion. I always wanted it just to be a final little piece of Guy's emotional jigsaw puzzle. You know, that this is. So you can go right back to the very first shot of the movie and have some sense as to what he might have been sitting in his car contemplating. But for me, the movie actually technically ends before the dog. It's him looking at a mess he's made, a mess of bodies. Everywhere he goes, he makes a mess, and everywhere he goes, he thinks it somehow. He probably has for a decade thought that mess was somebody else's fault. And for the first time ever, he has that moment of realizing that this is a mess entirely of his creation, and for the first time ever, he cleans it up with a certain reverence and ceremony.
Time for one more question. Let's make it a good one. You, right in the front row. No pressure. Which scene was most challenging to film? From the beginning to the ending credits.
This is a kind of boring answer, but the car chase is just because it's boring to shoot. I love fooling around with actors and all that kind of stuff. And as soon as you're doing a car chase, you're only doing, maybe on a normal day, if you're moving well, you get somewhere between 12 and 16 shots per day, and as soon as you start shooting a car chase, you're doing 4 shots a day, and it's just so tedious and mechanical. And as soon as your actors are in the car doing anything, having to act in any way, I'm not getting to kind of go and whisper to them and stuff. I'm just screaming at them through a walkie-talkie. And yeah, I mean, it's fun when you finally get to put it all together in an edit room, and then even funner when you get into the world of sound. But when you're actually shooting it, it's just up and down the road, up and down the road, for days and days and days.
But a movie like The Rover, we're in the summer season, and it's all about superheroes and spaceships. But a movie like The Rover, the way for the word to get out there is by word of mouth. And what is word of mouth in today's day and age? It's social media. So the movie's in select theaters now. It opens nationwide next weekend. So make sure you get on Facebook, you get on Twitter. I don't know if you're still using MySpace or Friendster, but please do get the word out. Gentlemen, thank you so much for this Q&A, and thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the meeting. Thank you for coming.